Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. How are you doing? This is Amanda. I do hope that you're well. So today is the 14th of October 2023, and well, this video is going to cover hopefully quite a lot of ground. There is so much going on in our world that it's a case of not really knowing where to start. So I'm going to start with where I thought I was going to be starting today until about an hour ago. I thought that this video was going to be themed around, and it is going to include this energy, basically. Metatron was talking about it's time for our tools that we have learnt to be put into practice. Isn't that true? Absolutely. So I was going to do a whole video on that. And as I say, it is going to be about that. But equally, there are huge things going on in our world. Obviously, I've already done a video with regards to the situation between Israel and Palestine. Send continued healing and the energy of peace to that region. Today, as I record Saturday, I believe the offensive in Gaza probably will be going into full swing. 1.1 million people had a 24-hour notice to evacuate parts of the Gaza Strip. I suspect that probably is impossible. So we shield the innocent, and we hope that the roots of evil, wherever they lie in our world, are absolutely able to be eradicated, because they cannot go with us into New Earth. And we ask Spirit to help those that need help. Oh, I've just remembered something. This video is going to be about all sorts of stuff. I'm going to say something important at the moment about shielding ourselves and the situation in our world, but we're also going to be covering off what's happened in New Zealand with a new Prime Minister just being elected in, literally within about the last hour. And we're also going to mention the no vote in Australia. So, just grab a cuppa. I can't do this video quickly. There is so much going on, and I refuse to do it quickly, actually. I'm not into sound bites. I'm into trying to bring through the right information in the right way, in a considered approach. So I know those of you that are my faithful followers get that. So thank you. Even if you have to watch the video in 2 parts, I appreciate it. Right, this is what I received from Metatron last night before going to bed. Because of the work I do, but this isn't just about me, it's about you, it's about everybody in the world. Obviously, we know that there is an uprising of darkness right now, okay? It's very, very visible. It's very visible in many countries. The horror of seeing anti-Semitism on the streets of our cities again is absolutely appalling. There is no justification whatsoever for it. It's just beyond belief that we're back in a loop of this type of energy being vocalized by some. In truth, it never went away, of course, I'm sure. But so we have this uprising of darkness taking many forms in our world. And I said to Metatron before I went to bed last night, I always ask for protection for myself, my family, my home, etc., as you all should be doing as well. But I said, is there anything else I need? And he said, I'm going to give you an invisibility cloak. And then it went into a sort of discussion between him and me about the fact that this can be something that you too can use. Yes, if you've read Harry Potter, the invisibility cloak is there. But the invisibility cloak is actually a very real thing. It cannot be magicked into existence if you do not actually believe that it is possible, is the first thing to say. You have to have a respect for the tools that Spirit gives us, for them to be able to even give them to us or do their job effectively. So if you put on something like an invisibility cloak and part of you is mocking it or thinking, well, this is a load of nonsense, but I'm going to do it anyway, then you are going to reduce the effectiveness of it tenfold. If you can ask Metatron to put on an invisibility cloak when you need it, this can absolutely help during these times. I was shown a couple of examples. All of these are quite difficult things to talk about and bring up, but let's do it because that's where we're at right now. Number one is school shootings in USA. If you, God forbid, have to send your children off to school and you have a worry in your head about some sort of mass shooting happening on the campus, you can send them in with an invisibility cloak. What this means is, God forbid, if it ever were to happen and your child was in a situation where there was an active shooter in the classroom or stalking the corridors, wearing the invisibility cloak means that the shooter goes into the room but doesn't actually see them. They might very well be hiding under a desk or in a safe room or anything like that, but it is another shield that you can put on to your children, to yourself. Also, if you are lawmakers, by that I'm talking about police on the street who are, trying to help restore balance and harmony. I know there is corruption within the police force, but equally there are also very good people within the police force trying to do their best in a very unsafe and uncertain world. You can also put on an invisibility cloak in appropriate situations. So I'm seeing a situation, for example, where there is a hostage type situation. You're having to creep up to something, someone, you're having to bust open a door, you want to catch somebody by surprise. You need just that extra camouflage, basically, is what it is, isn't it? It's a different type of camouflage. The army use it all the time to blend into the background. So the invisibility cloak is what I'm giving you. And as with all effective spiritual tools, they're actually very straightforward to do. You ask. It's as simple as that. You ask, and you ask from a place of respect for the being that is going to bestow it upon you, which is Archangel Metatron. You don't need to have a qualification or to have done anything to ask for this. It is something that is given to all in an hour of need. You do not want to, or nor do you need to walk around with an invisibility cloak on 24/7. And indeed, if you do that, you're going to get people bumping into you. I've done it before in airports, and actually it can get quite tiresome. So it's in appropriate situations only. So number one, we have the active shooter type situation in schools or anywhere else. People that are in the midst of riots or trying to restore order or are caught up in trouble. Obviously, with regards to what is going on in the Holy Land in relation to war, God forbid, people coming to your door. Again, it's the energy of them somehow just not seeing. And I know this sounds crazy, and I know it sounds bonkers, and it's easy to mock somebody like myself that's saying this, but I know that this is possible, okay? So I'm giving you the invisibility cloak. So that was something that came to me last night. Okay, just to try and keep this video as structured as I can, because we're talking about tools that can help us during these times. Where to start? As Metatron said, it's everything that you've learnt up to now. It is time for our tools to be put into practice. Whatever it is that you hold strength in, definitely the power of prayer, definitely the energy of asking for yourself to be protected, whether it's the armor of God, whether it's working with crystals, whether it's working with sprays, whether it's working with the Holy Spirit, whatever your belief system is, whatever the tools are that you have built to help yourself get through these difficult days, use them now, okay? The art of breathing as well. We are being assaulted on all sides by media that is seeking to defile us, to bring us down, to depress us, to make us so apathetic and so overwhelmed that we just roll over and give in. That's not to say that the media doesn't have a role to play in obviously informing us. But as I said in my last video, Israel-Palestine, it's the middle path. It's about being informed, but it's about not gorging on photographs and film that once you've seen, you have it in your head and you can never get it out of your head. I don't think I properly articulated in my last video what I was trying to say with regard to PTSD. I mentioned that Metatron had shown me the energy of returning soldiers from World War One, World War Two, Vietnam, any war where they'd seen horrors and they never recovered from it. That is still true, sadly. What I was trying to also articulate was the fact that when you see rolling film, photographs of whatever it is, there is a form of PTSD that happens that is now stored in your memory bank, and it helps to lower your defenses, lower your immune system is something I also want to talk about. Just lower yourself generally. So stay informed, but do be very careful, guys. Be so careful. There are certain platforms at the moment that you've got to be very careful on as well. And ironically, some of them are the free speech platforms. I'm all for free speech, but ultimately some platforms are completely and utterly unregulated to the degree that they will show you everything. Do you want to see everything 24/7? You won't still be standing by the end of the year or the end of next year if you carry on with that energy, okay? So said with love. Also, I have to say, many of you saw the community post that I put up last night. I felt so passionately about that. I had holy anger in a moment. I'm not going to name who it was, and they're not the only person doing it, but I had the misfortune, and it was the misfortune, to stumble across a video of somebody, psychic medium, who was just talking about the complete annihilation of the planet. There was no hope, there was no other timeline, there was no other way. People were scared shitless in the comments. People just saying, well, okay, well, I'm looking forward to seeing my great-grandmother again, or, how much longer have we got? No hope whatsoever. I could not believe what I was seeing and reading. Now, what I want to say about this is none of us have got our heads buried in the sand. These are very difficult days that we're living through. The threat of escalating war is very, very real. It probably will escalate. It's okay to be frightened, as I said last night, to be in fear, but try not to stay in it. You have moments of it, but then realign yourself back to your heart, back to your God, whatever it is that you believe in. But anybody that is bringing through a message where there is no hope, and the being that they are supposedly channeling is saying, that's it, over, out, done, goodbye, with no pastoral care for what they're even saying, even if it were true, is not working from the light that they think they are. There are trickster energies right now masquerading as light. I've seen quite a bit of it recently, and what's become a pattern that I'm noticing is that often the people who are saying these things, producing these videos, sharing this type of material, whether you call it fear porn, it's also true of the media. Sometimes they're doing it unconsciously without even realise that they are actually attached into effectively entity-type energy, because it is a negative entity that will tell you there is no hope, that this planet is doomed. It is not of God. It is not of light. It is not of love. I know so many of you know this, but please, please, when Metatron says it's time for our tools to be put into practice, part of this is also about not staying silent when we see this type of infestation of negative darkness seeping in, because it's corroding so many people's minds. It also has the danger of affecting our children's minds, the next generation's minds, to make them feel as though it's hopeless, there's no point in going on. We have a rising tide of mental health issues across the world. We now have a rising tide of darkness. Please, please, let's look out for each other. Let's protect each other. Let's protect our children. And some of this comes from absolutely turning away from those that are feeding the fear. And I'd include the media in that as well. It serves no purpose to keep watching beyond a certain point, reading beyond a certain point. and to watch the fear mongers on whether it's YouTube or anywhere else, you're feeding that energy by doing so. Please, please, let's not do that. Let's stay in our hearts. Let's stay in the energy of love. We are not ostriches with our heads in the sand who can't see the very difficult situation our world is in now. I have always said that I believe that we will not be allowed to annihilate this world, because there are higher powers that will see to it that we're not allowed to do that, because Mother Earth is meant to live on. That doesn't mean that there can't be accidents, escalations that are dangerous for all, but it does not mean that life on this planet ends. Okay. Some people really need to be reminded of that. It's the age of false prophets, basically, isn't it? Which has been foretold. So false prophets, fear porn, just watch out for all of it. Okay, guys, sorry, I didn't want to get so heavy, but I feel so passionately about that. Okay. Right. Time for our tools to be put into practice. I think before I go on and pull cards generally for this solar eclipse and new moon in Libra, I'd like to just deal with Australia and New Zealand. I'd like to pull some cards for you. Indeed, I have actually pulled some cards off camera. Interestingly, on the bottom of the deck, we've got the card of strength, and it's the whale breaching into a different position. I think this is probably for both of your countries, the whale breaching into a different position. That whatever you think of the developments over the last 24 hours, for those of you that don't know, Australia have voted no on the Voice Referendum for giving a greater voice to Indigenous people in the Constitution. And New Zealand have voted in a new Prime Minister, ending the legacy of Jacinda Ardern after I don't know how many years. Chris Hipkins, who was her predecessor, and you now have a new guy in power, who is another Christopher, interestingly. I do find that quite interesting. There's two Chris's. But anyway, I'm going to very quickly look at both of these, and I'm not going to get into the politics of it, guys. I'm not going to get into the politics of it. Please try not to in the comments. Let's just try and take a higher perspective on this. I'm just going to give you the intuitive hits that I'm getting for both situations. Let's start with New Zealand first. I'm sorry to my Kiwi followers that I was not able to read on your election prior to it happening. There's just too much going on at the moment in the world and in my own life. And I'm just trying to do what I can on a regular basis to keep showing my face when it's really needed. So I'm sorry I wasn't there to help you, but also know that, I'm sure you made the right decision for you, however you voted, and you put some thought into it. Please respect, obviously, your neighbours, your friends who might have voted differently from you. That's very important. But yes, it looks like you've got a new Prime Minister today. So it is the end of Chris Hipkins. He only spent 9 months in the job, after taking over from Jacinda Ardern in January. And he is handing the baton now to Christopher Luxon. So from one Chris to another. I like the fact, this is just maybe not a relevant point, but I think it is actually. I like the fact that this new guy's called Christopher. I think there's something about the name Christopher that is very powerful. Should we just actually look up what the meaning of Christopher is? You see, I don't abbreviate my name. There's something about the strength in an unabbreviated name sometimes. Christopher. Meaning. Bearing Christ. It's probably quite obvious, isn't it? It's of Greek origin. And of course it links to Saint Christopher, who is the patron saint of travellers. Bearer of Christ. Okay. Let's hope, again, let's go higher perspective, that from one Chris to another Chris, that the Christed energy that exists within every single being on this planet, and that's the Christed energy, it's the Christ consciousness energy that exists in every person on the planet, can be elevated with this new man. So I've just got to put a bit more wax melt on. It's smoking. I'm burning pumpkin spice. Oh, lovely. Let's just put a bit more in. I don't want to set my room on fire. Okay, so yeah, let me just concentrate. So what did I feel earlier when I was tuning in? This is what I felt. I'm going to give you an analogy of the UK because it's a very good one. So in the UK, we've had 16 to 18 years of a conservative government. The leaders have changed, but it's been a conservative government, which is more right than left, although maybe a bit more middle to, anyway, whatever. It's the right-wing party of our country. Labour is left, Tories are right. So the Tories have been in for 16 years, 18 years, something like that. Next year we have an election. I strongly suspect, I haven't thrown any cards on it, but I suspect that probably they will be ousted and we will have a Labour government. Now, this is really because what happens politically is that we swing from one extreme to the other a lot of the time. Hopefully not extremes. Left and right don't have to be extremes. You can have moderate left, moderate right. But usually if a particular party's been in power for a long time, you're always going to get a swing the other way. It just feels as though it's the natural way of the world, actually, more than anything. And also people get tired of the same old party, the same old politics. They want change. More than anything, they want change. So next year in the UK, when likely a Labour government gets in, it will be more, not so much about we really want Keir Starmer, who's the Labour leader. It will more be about we just want change. We just want change and we don't want you. We don't want this party that's been in for 18 years, that's promised the earth and hasn't maybe delivered. I'm picking up the same energy in New Zealand. The politics might be different. The parties are actually the other way round, I believe, because you've just voted out left and it's more now going towards the right. It will be the other way for us. It's the whole duality. It's the whole yin yang. It's just the barometer that's swinging back. You voted for change is what I'm feeling. More than anything, you voted for change rather than necessarily voting for this new Christopher. But having said that, let's pull a couple of cards on him and see what comes through. So let's have a look at what he looks like firstly. Christopher Luxon. Christopher. I don't know if all of the results are in as I record, but I think he's won quite a convincing victory. Yeah, the polls are still quite... they're still being counted. Okay, so there he is. I'll show you in a moment what he looks like. Oh, sorry guys, hold on. There he is. Where's my iPad doing this? Oh, anyway, look, that's what he looks like. You can look it up yourself. Can you see him? Christopher Luxon. The first thing I want to say is that when anybody new gets elected into power, we should always wish them well. I truly believe that. There have been many times in my life when, somebody's been elected into power in my country and it hasn't gone the way that I ideally would have liked it to. Those were in the days when I really cared who got in, because let's be honest, a lot of them aren't. It's like choosing the lesser of two. I don't want to use the word evils, but none of them are particularly inspiring, let's put it that way. But in the days when I really cared, sometimes you would think, oh no, really? But then you've got to get behind whoever's in power, because if you don't, and at least give them a chance at the start, you're actually kicking yourself in the foot. I really believe that. Let's pull some cards on this guy then. So he says the former chief executive of Air New Zealand has become the National Party's official candidate for the Auckland seat of Botany, kick-starting speculation that Christopher Luxon is vying eventually to become Prime Minister. Oh, okay, this is an old thing. Oh, right, so he was the chief executive of Air New Zealand. So I've just said about St. Christopher being the patron saint of travelling How funny. Right, well, this guy's definitely going to be seeking greater ties with the world. I feel that Jacinda Ardern helped isolate New Zealand from the rest of the world. This guy is going to try to do the opposite. He's going to try and bring New Zealand back into the world, okay, from a more isolated place than it's been. I hear he's a mover and a shaker. I know he's bald, so maybe it's just an association with baldness. Nothing wrong with baldness, by the way. But I'm hearing a bother boy, which is a bit of a UK reference. Bother boy. Probably doesn't travel very well, but it's just this energy of he just feels like I don't know, he feels a bit like a street fighter. It's like he's going to get things done. He's a mover and a shaker. He's very young because he's younger than me. He's 53, so very, very young. I'm being sarcastic, but no, give him a chance, guys, is what I want to say. Give him a chance. Let's pull some cards. Let's see what comes through for Christopher Luxon. When was he born? Christopher Luxon. Luxon. 19th of July, he's a Cancerian. He's 53, 19th of July, 1970. So he's a number 19. Let's just do a quick little bit of numerology on him. I can't resist. Where's a piece of paper? 19th of July, 1970 means he's a 10, 17, 18, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. He's a 34-7. He's got depth, this guy then. He's a 7 energy. Let me just double check I've got that right. 10, 17, 18, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 30. Yeah, he's a 34-7. The whale. Oh, the whale. Right, sorry. I mean, I know you don't necessarily understand all these references. It comes from colour mirrors, which is what I trained in originally in terms of colour therapy. Number 34 is the energy of the whale. And we had the whale breaching, the strength. That's him. So number 34 is linked into the whale consciousness. Strength is he's helping to breach. He's helping to move New Zealand into a different position. In the world, within itself, seeing things differently. It's very like a hanged man type energy. Number 7 is linked into Neptune. It's the god of the sea. He's deeper than maybe people first credit him for. Strong watery energy here. 19 is, it's resurrection and new beginnings. Definitely feels fated that he's doing this at this time, that he's there. Let's just pull a couple more cards for him. Is he quite big? I mean, I don't mean that horribly. I mean tall, tall. I mean, well built. It feels like he's got stature. I'm just feeling he's a bit of a, when I say a big beast of the jungle, it's the whale energy, that can be a good thing. The 4 of Swords, I definitely feel it's as though his arrival is the complete changeover, the moving away from the Arden years and her policies, whether you like them or not. It's moving away. It's a fresh new start. He's coming in on a solar eclipse. I'm going to wish him well. Right, let's have 2 cards and then we need to go on. Yeah, it's exactly what I just said to you. The Wheel of Fortune. Whatever happens, he was meant to win this. He's meant to lead this. I'm wondering whether it's just for the next 3 years. I might be wrong in that, but this article that I've pulled on him is 3 years old, that article. So that may or may not be right, but I've got the number 3. But anyway, Wheel of Fortune. Let's see, what else is there to say? Anything else? Christopher Luxon. He wants the job. But equally, it's like, oh my God, now I've got to deliver. 9 of Swords. I would like to say that this could also represent that he's a good guy who actually wants to fight off the terrors, okay, whatever you think the terrors are, the enemy, the darkness. You see, I can already hear parts of the truther community saying, "Oh my God, yeah, he's just another one of the DS. You know, he's just another puppet." Give the guy a chance. I want to say, could it be with these two cards that he's actually somebody who's there to try and destiny to fight against the powers that were, is what I want to say. Could he be different? I don't know. Time will tell. But we've got the Four of Wands. This is a new beginning. This is a happy card. This is a prosperous card. This is a new vision for the future. Let's have one more card. Show me his energy. Show me his energy. Yeah, he's a battler. He's a fighter. I can feel a song on the tip of my tongue. He's a battler. He's a fighter. I feel like he holds the moral high ground. Don't come at me for saying that. It's just something I'm feeling. Time will tell. He definitely is going to get in there, fight for what he believes is right. Yeah, look at this. Fight for what he believes is right. We've got the Judgment card as well. And the Ace of Cups. There he is, finally, the King of Pentacles. He feels as though he wants to right some wrongs of the past. He definitely has in his sights who he believes haven't helped New Zealand. Destiny card is flying out again. Very interesting to see what happens with him. I wish him well. Okay. So good luck, New Zealand, with your new PM. This is an interesting card on the bottom of the pack, which is the Five of Wands, which is saying teamwork. Remember, it's a team effort. So get behind new initiatives, get behind new policies which are beneficial and good. Try to bring a fresh new start for your country on this solar eclipse day. Okay, let's move on now, and we're going to go to another contentious subject, which is the voice referendum in Australia. Now, I've done a very long video on this, and I'm not going to repeat myself in terms of what I've already said. If you want to watch that in retrospect, please do, because there'll be stuff that is very relevant for now. Because what I did say in that video is that however the vote went, ultimately, Australia is on a path towards greater unity, greater inclusion, greater inclusivity, and it will all be okay, basically. But that being said, there would be a reaction and a response, however the vote went down. Okay, I'm seeing the Tower card in my head, so there would be a Tower moment, whatever happened. I seem to remember that the Prime Minister of Australia had staked a lot on getting a yes vote in. So this may very well have ramifications for him now that the vote has gone the other way. I'm not making any political statement here in terms of whether I think it was the right decision or wrong decision, because I know those of you that follow me, you voted for what you, again, felt was the right thing to do. And as I said to the Kiwi followers, please respect people that voted differently from you, who you might not understand the way they voted, but they did it with the best of intentions. The no vote has come down. I had a physical reaction in my body when I heard that, okay, which was quite interesting. I've had reactions before in my body, I'm sure you have as well. When you hear a piece of news, you hear somebody's, got into power or been booted out of power, and it's a physiological reaction in the body. It's like, oh, brilliant, or oh. And you can't create that. It just comes. I had a feeling of, oh, that's what it felt like. It felt, oh. No judgment in terms of how the vote went. It was just interesting. That was my feeling. It was like, oh. It was like a balloon being popped. Like, oh. Okay. And then straight away, breath. Okay, well, right, let's now look at what this means. I did hear Spirit say, and I think this is true, And again, it's not a judgment on how the vote's gone or how you voted. Please don't be triggered. But from an outsider's perspective, because Australia is part of the world, we're all united. All countries have perceptions of other countries, right or wrong. From the outer world's perspective, the optics don't look good, is what I heard. The optics don't look good. That may very well be because the outside world don't understand all of the facts, don't understand all the considerations. Doesn't change the fact that the optics of the no vote don't look good. So, that being said, let us pull some cards. Okay, I will shuffle again, but I also want to just show you what's on the bottom of the deck, which I hadn't realised. This is the Gentle Tarot. We have the Eight of Wands in reverse. All of that potential forward energy. Remember, this is literally only hours after the vote has come in, so it's going to change. This is an initial, immediate reaction. All of that forward energy, all of that motivation, all of that money maybe, all of the energy that was put into the referendum has actually not really gone anywhere. We haven't changed anything. And it's got the Three of Stones on the bottom of the deck. And then we've got the card of Judgment. I will shuffle these cards though, because these cards also came up with regards to other things I've read on recently. But I'm going to show them anyway. Three of Stones just shows the energy of community. It's the card of community, and we have Judgment. It feels as though there's still separation, there's still division. All of that energy hasn't actually achieved anything very positive yet, I want to say. Yet. Doesn't mean that it can't not produce something good. Remember what I said in the first video, that however the vote went, something could be built from it. Maybe something, what I'm feeling now is, what I'm hearing is something could be built faster, which is more beneficial as a result of this no vote. Let's see. Let's pull some cards. So the no vote, and then I'm going to get to cards for everybody, for the whole world for this eclipse. But let's just do a few cards for Australia. I know I've got many followers there, and I love you all very much. I don't care how you voted. We're all doing the best we can, aren't we? We all have to learn to sit in unity with each other, and that means having differences of opinion. Okay, so Australia's voted no. What is there to say, please, Metatron? Okay, this one is, that's flying out again. Okay, we've got the Chariot upside down. This is the Bear upside down. I'm just getting the energy here. You see this card when it's upright? I don't know if you can. Sorry, I'm still getting used to this new camera. Somebody said if I put it in front of my face, you might be able to see it better, because then I'm not in the camera shot. Is that right? Please tell me. Anyway, it's a bear. Okay, it's a bear with fish in its mouth. And I just get this energy of like, what do we do now? It's just like, what do we do now? It's like... it's just this heavy, plodding feeling of, oh, okay, what do we do now? Now, don't worry, guys, okay? Something will come. Something will come. This bear's not going to be standing upside down for long. But at the moment, it's like, it's got two fish in its mouth. I'm feeling the energy of the feeding of the 5,000. The 5 loaves and the 10 fish, or was it the other way round? Always get that the wrong way round. But, you know, the feeding of the 5,000 with the fish and the loaves. I've got all of the fish in my mouth. I've got all of the bread. I've got enough for everybody. But what am I going to do with it? What do I do now? It was, you know, it's that time of what do I do now? Well, let's pull another couple of cards. Unity can't be stopped. The energy of inclusivity cannot be stopped. New Earth cannot be stopped. This is just one step along the path. And if you try not to see it as either good or bad, dark or light. Just see it as a result. It's where we are now. It's like, ooh, what do we do now? Because you've had all this energy, all of this hyper energy, all of the discussion, all of the fervour. It's like, oh, okay, what do we do now? We haven't done anything. Well, something's going to check. Something will come, guys. Let's pull a few more cards. What are the next steps for Australia, please, Metatron? He's saying to be extra gentle with each other right now. To be extra gentle. To be extra kind. To be extra compassionate. To show your love for each other. To listen to each other. To open your hearts to each other. We've got the Hermit has come out. That's probably very appropriate. The Hermit is the next step. So from, what do we do now? We have the Hermit. The Hermit is saying, right now, Australia, you need to go within. You need to go within. You need to reflect. Okay, this didn't work. What could work? Where do we go next? The Hermit doesn't necessarily have all the answers straight away. That's the whole point of being the Hermit. You have to go within. Interestingly, there's two major arcanas, the Chariot upside down and then the Hermit. We've got the Three of Cups. I'm really glad to see that. So ultimately, you get there, which is what I said in the first video. Ultimately, you get there. The Three of Cups is the energy of reunion, celebration, happiness, togetherness, community, equal sharing. It's the 5 loaves and the 10 fish, whichever way around it was. On the bottom of the pack, we've got the 5 of Stones, which would be the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. And that's nice because the 5 of Pentacles in a traditional deck is the one where you are excluded from the table. You know, you have the homeless person who's out on the street and they aren't able to get into the top table. You've got the stained glass window and they're just huddling outside in the cold. They're ignored, they're disenfranchised, they are disadvantaged. The indigenous population there, I remember reading on it and it was, you know, there is a disadvantage in terms of wealth, life expectancy, that type of thing. So 5 of Stones is very appropriate for how they've been feeling, their place in society. But I like the fact it's upside down because it's saying in the future this won't be so. We've left the 5 of Cups energy and we've moved more into a 3 of Cups energy. We've also got the High Priestess on the top of the deck with the 2 of Stones. So I have to be a bit careful how I show these cards because it's got nude women on it. You know how YouTube is ridiculous in terms of what you can show and what you can't show. So I'm going to cover a bits up. But, you know, it's the High Priestess and the 2 of Stones is saying you can't see the way forward yet, especially with the Hermit and the High Priestess. You can't see the way forward yet. But it will come. It will come. Something is hidden. Something is unveiled. The 2 of Stones, it's like there's two different ways we can go with this. Are we going to become more entrenched in our position? No. No, because ultimately Australia as an energy wants this for all its people, that we are all Australian. We are all Australian. Okay? Let's see what Australia as an energy itself, as an over energy, would like to say to its people today. All its people. What would Australia like to say to its people today? We have the 4 of Cups, which is, this is what I was trying to say in terms of my physiological reaction when I heard the news. Even if you voted no, I feel as though there's a sense of, it just feels a bit deflated. All that energy and we still haven't got anywhere. She's just sitting there huddled. The thing with the 4 of Cups, though, is that she's not looking at the cups that are still standing. That this referendum, it wasn't for nothing. It wasn't for nothing. It was to bring this up into the open. The whole discussion needed to be had. It was fated to be had. The question now is, what do you do with it? What do you do with it? The vote's been had, but the issues haven't gone away. What do we do with it now? How can we come together from a place of love? So Australia herself is giving you the Four of Cups and reminding you of what you've achieved through this referendum. But also, you know, Metatron here saying what's been highlighted as well in terms of the division, the separation, the arguments, the polarization. Well, it's come up now. Let's look at it. Let's look at that. I've got the Star has come up as well, and the Ten of Cups. That's really nice. Really nice. Keep going. Keep the wish in your heart for unity, for equality for all. And the Ten of Cups, which is very similar to Three of Cups in terms of what I'm channeling here, it's the ultimate card of family. It's the Ten of Cups, the ultimate card of family. The ultimate card of there's enough eggs there in the nest for all. That Australia is the nest for all her people, all being deserving of being in that nest. And that the nest, Australia, can look after and nourish and nurture all of her people. Okay, thank you. Let's move on from that then. Okay, I think I'm going to finish off this reading with some cards for, well, you know, what I intended, which was the, although it's good to have been able to cover that as well, this new moon in Libra and this solar eclipse. Let's see what the hell is going on, guys. For the world, for you watching, what does this mean? Okay, for you watching, what does this mean? I'm going to read you a poem, actually. I've got a beautiful poem, and then I'm going to pull some cards. By the way, you know, I was talking about the invisibility cloak yesterday. Not yesterday, this morning. It's been a long day already. It's only 12 o'clock. You know, I was talking about the invisibility cloak and protection for ourselves. Please do watch over this part of the body, your higher heart. If you are an empath like I am, many of you are, you're givers. My goodness, there is so much need out there at the moment in our society, in our world, that if you're not careful, you're going to drain your cup. You're going to have nothing left to give. You need to be shielding your higher heart, okay? So for me, wearing a big crystal, doesn't really matter what crystal it is, this is amethyst, is a conscious choice. It's there to look after this part of the body, the higher heart, because the higher heart is where it's like a bridge. It's also a receptor. It's a portal. It's where you receive energy in, but it's also where you leak it and you give it out. And at the moment, if you're a loving human being and an empath, I've definitely had a week where I've realized it's like, you can't do it all. You can't save the world. You have to just rein it back in a bit, Amanda, because otherwise you're going to be unwell and you're no use to anybody. So this is true for a lot of us. Please look after yourself, nourish yourself. I definitely had a few warning signs this week myself. And I was like, okay, my body's telling me just ease off a little bit. Do what you can, but then step away. But definitely protect this area. We do have a higher heart spray, and I will just go and get it. I can't believe it. My microphone's plugged into an energy source, which is a laptop over there. It's that laptop that gave you the musical background, which I tried to erase on my last video. Hopefully it's not happening now. But as I talked about the heart, there was a picture of somebody's heart, that literally the heart, the whole organ of the heart was just being shown on a video. Right, let me get the higher heart spray. Hold on. Oh, God. Oh, God. Where'd you get this sort of madness anywhere else? Here we go. You can be as polished and professional as you try to be, but you're always going to be a human being. And human beings are flawed. Right, this is the higher heart spray, guys. Love the colour of that. Okay, this is the higher heart. It is jade. From memory, it has thyme, lemon in it. It's a herbal smell to this one. I'm going to start to use this a little bit more than I have been as well, because it also helps to just boost your immune system. You know, that it's all linked into this part of the body. Let me just get it up online, what's in it, because I haven't looked at this one for a while. I don't think it's one that lots of people use, but it's definitely something that I think can help us at this time, because this is a chakra that can get very depleted. Yeah, it's the higher heart and thymus. What's it got in it? Excuse me. Thyme, lemon and ginger. Oh, that's interesting. This is one of the sprays that when I was making these sprays myself in my bedroom up there in 2012, whenever it was, I came up with this recipe. So, of course, Tracy and the team make them now, but this is one of my original blends, and I always love it. Yeah, thyme, lemon and ginger. It says it's good for any immune-related disorder, colds, flu. Helps you when you're traveling, visiting or staying in hospital. It's good for light activation work. It's good for those who give too much and then get run down. It's a must-have for healers and anybody in close contact with the public. And there's a review of it here on my website from one of you. Thank you, Jodie. She says, I've been using this daily in combination with the spiritual protection spray for a few years. It is essential to me as jade keeps me healthy and strong, and the protection spray keeps what I need in and what I don't need out. I don't feel dressed without doing this each morning. In fact, I got lax about using the two earlier this year, and bam, I got sick and I got attacked. Stuff happened. And that was enough of an experience to go back to my daily practice. I can't recommend it enough. Okay, so thank you very much for that review, Jodie. But yeah, it's a good spray, this. But I did want to just mention the higher heart. Please look after your higher heart. Right, guys, let us read this poem. So this is from the Wee Moon Gaia Rhythms for Women diary for 2023. The poem is by somebody called Sophia Rosenberg, who wrote this in 2019, and it's called When Ending Comes. Because the thing is, this solar eclipse, if you think about it, the sun goes, it disappears for a little while, and then it comes back out again. So there is an ending before the new beginning and the new light comes in. And I think we're at a place of endings right now in our world. And we have to be so observant of our own thoughts, our own actions, to remember at all times that endings always bring new beginnings. So this is the poem. It's called When Endings Come. Look into its eyes until your tears make a Monet's garden of the landscape, blurring the hard cliff edge. You will step beyond into emptiness. When ending comes, be alone with sorrow, even if she refuses to speak to you. Let the silence become a clay on a wound that draws out your own hidden essential words. When ending comes, greet it like a guest that will destroy the house but leave behind a golden cup. You will not know how to drink from right away. When ending comes, cradle it in your arms like an egg, warm it with your body, so that someday, when your back curves around it with grief, the bared bones of your shoulders will breathe out wings. How beautiful is that? That from endings, new wings come. We learn how to fly. We learn how to grow. We learn how to evolve, often from the most difficult things. And this is true of the collective right now, and it's true of our personal life as well. Okay, I'm going to pull a couple of cards from the Earth Magic card deck from Stephen Farmer for us today. Let's see what Spirit would like to say. A message, please, for the people watching me for solar eclipse and new moon in Libra. We have the energy of cave, sanctuary, and we have the energy of love. That's a beautiful, beautiful image, and it's a beautiful card. Sanctuary and cave. It's very hermit-like, isn't it? We have one more card to go with it. We have dance, celebration. I knew music would come into it somehow. Again, I don't know how well you can see that card. If I block my face off, maybe you can see it better. I think you can. So you can see here there is a new dawn. The new dawn is actually coming along quite nicely. Quite nicely. It's not the central part of the picture. It's not the central energy at the moment because the new dawn hasn't yet arrived. But there is still work to be done in this cave-like environment, sanctuary. It's about going within. It's about going within, guys. Ultimately, it's about going within. And what do we find when we go within? When we go within, we find our heart. We find a gentle response. We find compassion. We find gentleness. We find each other, the two hands reaching out. We find each other. We also find the different parts of ourself, the scattered parts of ourself. And when we've done that, we dance and we celebrate. Beautiful. I like that. Okay, let's have a card from these two decks that I have out. Metatron and the Gaia Oracle. Oh, I must show you this because I just want to. Look what I bought. Isn't he gorgeous? Matches my desk. Matches my dress. Merlin. Beautiful, isn't it? Anyhow, sorry, that's just on my desk. Right, let's pull a card from Metatron. So, Archangel Metatron. The other M. Archangel Metatron. Key energy, please. What are we dealing with? What is the eclipse bringing in? What energy is the eclipse bringing in and highlighting? As above, so below. And we have gold, the card of replenishment. Everything that you put out comes back to you. Everything is an expression of something else. We are all mirrors of each other. It's also the energy of, I want to say, darkness and light. Do you want to reach and emulate a higher power? Or do you want to emulate something lower? What are you tied into? What is your reflection revealing? But yeah, the energy of as above, so below, and the gold cup of replenishment. I think this is very much about manifestation, though, in the days that we're in. That we can create heaven on earth, or we can create hell on earth. What part are you going to contribute to it being heaven on earth? And where do you contribute to it being hell on earth? What timeline are you bedding in? What cup are you drinking from? Are you drinking from the cup of fear and poison and toxicity and being around that and listening to that and doing that and promoting that? Or are you drinking from the cup of love and life and unity? I know which cup I want to drink from. We have Archangel Sandalphon on the bottom of the deck as well. Feels as though he's just helping us to root in this new dawn energy, but also to stay rooted and secure in ourselves during these days, which are difficult. That new dawn is still out there. I'm talking about the new earth, new dawn. Most can't see it, can't sense it, can't feel it yet. It's there though. And we have to stay rooted and aligned to our practice, to our higher self, to our God, to hope. So shall we end with that? let's use the Archangel Sandalphon spray to help us conquer fear at this time. Conquer the fear that's out there. Okay. So, bronze, by God, she's got the hang of the camera. That is now focused. Brilliant. Okay, so thank you very much to the person that said I have to hold it in front of my face. So here we go. Bronze, Archangel Sandalphon, Earth Star Chakra. A brief reminder that the Earth Star Chakra lies beneath your feet, about a foot or so down. It is the place that connects you to Gaia, to Mother Earth, to her nourishment, to her gifts, to her security. It's your foundation from which you build everything. If you have a weak Earth Star Chakra and weak rooting system, you're going to be felled by these energies. We don't want to be felled by the energies. We want to be like, you know, the willow tree that can just flow and bend with these different and difficult energies right now, as well as beautiful energies, of course. So let's ask Sandalphon to help us. Sandalphon also, I was thinking about this, feels as though, you know, the armour of God that I'm always talking about, and we have feet that walk in peace. Where is it? Feet that walk in peace. Sandalphon is very linked into feet that walk in peace, okay? Because sandal, the shoe, he's about your feet. He's about walking. He's about taking the steps, walking in peace, rooting peace. Every day, rooting peace. Not rooting fear, rooting peace. So let's spray this and see what Sandalphon has to say. And yeah, when I do use this spray, I also spray it down at my feet. Oh, I love the smell of this. It's so amazing. I think this was one of my original blends as well, although Tracy's a master blender in her own right, but this was one of my original blends. I really like this one. Okay. Breathe, ground, rest, and receive. 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 And now do that to the earth. Breathe, ground, rest, and receive. Breathe, ground, rest, and receive. That's a nice little mantra, actually. Breathe, ground, rest, and receive. Breathe, ground, rest, and receive. Go write it down. Breathe, ground, rest, and receive. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get this uploaded. Take great care of yourselves. I think that's all I've got for you today. I'll put the links to the Jade Higher Heart spray and the Earth Star spray in the description below. And I'll be back ASAP. And I send you all love. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye for now. Thank you for watching. Please like and share this video if you can. It just helps get it beyond the algorithm that only shows it to certain people. Thank you. Bye-bye for now. Bye.